Ever notice how even when you know a topic cold, like you could teach it in your sleep,
Uh-huh.
those interview nerves can still hit you like a runaway train?
Absolutely. It's like a
Yeah.
universal
Yeah.
experience, right?
Hmm.
I think it makes sense. We're kind of hardwired to get a little edgy when the stakes are high.
Right. Like your brain decides this is the time to forget everything it knows.
Exactly.
Exactly. So for today, energy strategies.
Oh,
We're going deep on a YouTube video from CareerVids
the
that
best.
breaks down like the toughest interview questions.
Great choice.
And it's funny because they bring up a point,
Yeah.
which I think we've all kind of experienced, which is that interviewers aren't just looking for like textbook answers. They're looking for insights into
Yeah.
how you think, how you communicate under pressure.
Right. How you problem solve.
It's like if they want to see the mental gymnastics
Yes.
behind your answers, which is terrifying, but also kind of fascinating.
Hmm.
So take like the classic tell me about yourself opener, right?
Yes.
CareerVids suggests using this acronym SEAT to structure your response.
Okay.
SEAT, skills, educational background and experience, achievements, and type of person you are.
I love this.
It's like such a, like, I don't know why I've never thought of it this way. It's like such a simple
That's a great framework.
but effective framework
Yeah.
for like, because think about it, those first few minutes are critical.
Yes.
You want to be able to showcase not just your competence, but also like your cultural fit
It's all of that. All of
Yeah.
that in those first few moments.
in that initial impression. And so it's like you're giving them a highlight reel of you as a professional
Yes.
and as a person within that like really small time frame.
Absolutely.
What I thought was really smart was
Yeah.
they emphasized quantifying your achievements.
Yes.
So like instead of just saying, I improved customer satisfaction, you could say, I implemented a new feedback system that increased customer satisfaction scores by 15%.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's exactly it. Yeah. Because I think that numbers are really your superpower in an interview
totally.
because it gives them a very concrete way to visualize what you're talking about. And I think it's more memorable.
It's like that, what's that old adage? Show, don't tell, but with data points.
Precisely. Yes.
It's like, show, don't tell, here are the receipts.
Exactly.
Okay, so now let's talk about another like kind of like tricky question.
Okay.
Why do you want this job?
Yes.
It's so easy to like, I think, fall into the trap of
Okay.
like talking about what the job offers you.
Yeah. But.
Hold up.
Yes.
Before we move on, I have to know, what's your take on
Okay.
like why that is? Like, why is quantifying your achievements so effective?
Yeah.
Is it simply like a making the data stick in their minds, or is there like a deeper psychological reason?
That's a great question. I think it's a little bit of both. I think on a cognitive level, like our brains are just literally hardwired to grasp down to more concrete information. So numbers are a really easy way for them to like anchor those memories. But I also think there is something to be said about like on a deeper level, our need for validation. Like when you are able to present very concrete results, you're not just saying like, oh, I did this, like you're actually proving it.
So it's like you're saying, don't just take my word for it, look at the evidence.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay, so now back to that tricky why this job question.
Right. So this is where a lot of candidates will sort of miss the mark, and this is where you're going to knock it out of the park. So a lot of times, candidates will focus on things like salary and the benefits and career progression, which are all great and important to you, I'm sure. But I think what really, really resonates with interviewers and what they're really listening for is this person really genuinely passionate about what we do and about this company? It's about showing them that you're not just there for a paycheck. You're there because you genuinely connect with their mission and want to be a part of it.
Exactly. Exactly. And, again, CareerVids gives a great example of how to do this. So they say, you should structure your answer by talking about three things, three key points.
Okay, so spill the beans. What are those three magic points for answering the, like, why this job question?
Okay, so the first is to connect your passion to the role's core function. So maybe you're really thrilled by the challenge of like optimizing marketing campaigns, or you're really energized by the opportunity to improve like user experience.
Yeah, so it's about showcasing your genuine enthusiasm for, like, the work itself, not just the job title.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, the second point is to highlight your passion for the company's industry.
Okay.
And this is where you're really going to want to do your research. So, have they made any like strides in sustainability? Are they known for their, innovative company culture? Things like that you can really weave into your answer.
So it's like saying, I don't just want any job in this field. I want to work specifically for you because.
Says exactly. And then finally, articulate how your values align with the company culture.
Yeah.
So have they won any awards for like employee well-being?
Yeah.
Do they prioritize diversity and inclusion? Those details really, really matter.
It shows you've done your homework and that this isn't just like a generic application. It's like you're
Yes.
choosing them as much as they're choosing you.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Ready to tackle another toughie?
Hit me.
Okay. What are your strengths?
Ah! Whew. That seems like such a softball question, but I always get so tripped up. Like, how do you articulate your strengths without sounding like you're bragging?
It's such a delicate balance, right? But, CareerVids gives a really, I think, fantastic strategy here, and that is to really tailor your answer to the job description.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't just use those like generic strengths that you've prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Really identify the skills that they are looking for and give very specific examples of how you embody those qualities.
Okay, so, like, if the job description emphasizes, like, problem-solving skills, you wouldn't just say, like, I am a great problem solver. You would give a concrete example of a time that you tackled a challenge head on.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And I think, again, it's not even just enough to like describe what you did. Remember those like quantifiable results we talked about?
Yes.
This is where they really, really shine. So did you like streamline a process? Did you boost efficiency? Did you exceed targets? Let those numbers really speak for themselves.
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense. Now, okay, the dreaded weakness question. That one always feels like a trap.
It can feel like such a trap.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a minefield. And I think CareerVids gives such great advice here. It's all about honesty, but with a focus on growth. So, choose a weakness that is genuine, but not a deal breaker for the role.
And then flip it around to show how you're actively working on it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So are you like maybe a little too detail oriented? Like you get a little bogged down in the minutia sometimes? Well, frame it as a strength that you're learning to balance that with bigger picture thinking. Or maybe you're naturally like a reserved person, but you're working on becoming a more confident public speaker.
Hmm.
That shows self-awareness, and it shows that you're committed to, personal development.
So it's all about turning those perceived weaknesses into opportunities for like growth and learning.
Exactly, exactly.
What I thought was really interesting was they talked about avoiding cliches.
Oh, yes, please, please, please.
I'm a perfectionist or I work too hard.
Oh, stop it. I don't even want to hear it.
It's so overused that it's lost all meaning, and it makes it seem like you're not being entirely truthful.
Yes, exactly.
It's like you're trying to pass off the generic thank you note like as a heartfelt expression of gratitude.
Right, exactly.
It just doesn't land the same way.
No, it doesn't.
Be authentic, be specific. So, like, if you tend to take on too many projects at once because you have a hard time saying no,
Yeah.
you could say something like, I'm working on setting healthier boundaries so that I can focus my energy where it matters most.
Yes.
That shows self-awareness, a commitment to improvement, and it doesn't scream like red flag to the hiring manager.
Exactly.
Okay, now for the million-dollar question, why should we hire you?
Yes. Okay, this is your moment. This is your chance to really, really shine. And I think CareerVids does such a good job of breaking it down into like 4 key points. So you want to highlight your qualifications, emphasize your track record of success, showcase your commitment to continuous improvement, and then finally, express your desire for long-term employment.
It's like the grand finale of your interview performance.
Yes.
You've set the stage, you've highlighted your strengths, and now it's time to just drive those points home.
Precisely. And, the example answer that they give, again, is gold. They say, start strong. Start strong by saying something like, you should hire me for 4 reasons. The first reason is that I am a solid match for the job description and require minimal training and supervision in my work.
Ooh, I love that. So you're like immediately addressing any concerns they might have about you needing a lot of hand-holding.
Yes.
You're presenting yourself as someone who's ready to contribute from day one.
Exactly, like immediate value.
Immediate value.
And then they don't stop there.
Yeah.
So they highlight, again, past achievements. The second reason is that I have a track record of achievement which I will replicate for your company. So again, this is where you weave in all those quantifiable results we've been talking about.
So it's like, here's proof that I can deliver results. I've done it before, and I can do it again for you.
Exactly, exactly. And then to further solidify their point, they say, The third reason you should hire me is because I am passionate about continuous improvement. I will continually improve my skills by undertaking training courses to ensure you see good value from my monthly salary.
That's brilliant. They're like addressing the employer's investment in them head on. It's like
Yes.
you're not just here for the paycheck, you're invested in your own growth and in the company's success as well.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And then finally, they just seal the deal, I think, with this.
Yeah.
And finally, the fourth reason you should hire me is because I am seeking long-term employment with your company. This means I want to become a part of your ongoing success, specialize in several business areas, and you won't have to re-advertise the position for many years to come.
Wow. Okay, they've covered all their bases.
Mm.
Qualifications, experience, commitment to growth, and a long-term vision. That's like a mic drop moment right there.
It's a masterclass in, like, really effectively communicating your value to a potential employer.
Totally.
Okay, so moving on. Another question that I think kind of trips people up is, tell me about a time you faced a challenge at work.
Ugh, that question. It's like they want you to relive your worst professional nightmares. I always freeze out trying to think of a time I didn't completely crash and burn.
Right. It definitely requires some strategic thinking.
Huh.
But thankfully,
Hmm.
CareerViz has like a really good framework for tackling it. The STAR method. Have you heard of this?
Okay, yes. Remind me, what does STAR stand for again? I can never remember the exact order.
Okay, STAR stands for Situation, Task, Action, Result. And it's basically a way to structure your answer. So it's really clear, concise, impactful. You're telling a story. Think of it like that. Like you're telling a mini story with a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's like instead of just rambling about a problem you faced, I can use this framework to present it as a story, like with a clear arc.
Exactly, exactly. So you start by really, describing the situation. So what was the specific context of this challenge? Then you're going to outline the task. So what were you responsible for? What needed to be accomplished?
Okay, so you're setting the stage, you're clarifying your role in the challenge.
Precisely, precisely.
Huh.
And then comes the action. So this is where you really shine. So you're going to detail the specific steps that you took to address this. What strategies did you employ? What resources did you utilize?
It's the show, don't tell principle in action, right?
Yes.
Instead of just saying, I solved the problem,
Exactly.
you walk them through your process.
You got it. And then finally, you're going to wrap up with the result. So what was the outcome of your actions? Did you improve efficiency? Did you exceed targets? Again, this is another opportunity to really bring in those quantifiable results that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, you want to showcase the impact of your actions, right? And how they benefited the team or the company.
Exactly. And, CareerVids gives a great example of like what this looks like in practice. They use like a website crash scenario, and they start by like really setting the scene, right? So they say, on a Friday afternoon in my previous job, the company website crashed. See, it grabs your attention.
Yeah, like it's like the opening scene of a thriller.
Exactly.
You know something big is about to go down.
Exactly. And they follow it up with like a really clear kind of outline of the task. So they say, this was a problem because we had an online sale planned for the weekend and the company IT department had already left. My task was to take the lead, find a solution to the problem, and get the website back running again before the weekend sale.
Okay, so they've clearly established the challenge, their responsibility in addressing it. And what I find interesting is they've kind of subtly highlighted their initiative there by mentioning that the IT department was gone. It's like they're saying, like, I didn't wait around for someone else to fix it. I stepped up.
That's such a good observation. Yes. It's all about those subtle cues that, again, show your strengths without being, like, overly boastful. And now, for the action part. I assessed my options and determined the best solution would be to source an online web developer through the website Upwork.com to investigate the issue. After shortlisting 2 candidates with relevant skills and experience, I interviewed them via Zoom. After selecting the most competent candidate, I gave them a brief, and they set to work. I stayed online throughout and monitored their work while maintaining close communication and answering any questions they had.
Wow. Okay, they broke down that problem-solving process like step by step. They're not just saying, I fixed it. They're showcasing their resourcefulness, their decision-making skills, their ability to like manage a remote team under pressure.
Exactly. Exactly. They're really painting a picture. And then they wrap it up with a really satisfyingly positive result. By 6:00 p.m. that evening, the website issue had been fully resolved, and the website was up and running again. On Monday morning, my manager praised me for my calmness and ability to take the lead during difficult situations.
Yes, they nail it. They highlighted their skills, demonstrated their ability to handle pressure, achieved a positive outcome, and they even got a nice little compliment from their manager, like to top it all off. A
Exactly.
star method for the win.
Yes, it's such a good tool to have in your back pocket because it can really take like a potentially stressful interview question and turn it into an opportunity
Right.
to really showcase those amazing skills.
Okay, so moving on. Let's talk about a question that often I think throws people for a loop. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Ooh, the crystal ball question.
I know it's so tough. I feel like I need to like predict the future
Right.
and like I can barely remember what I had for breakfast. A
Right.
lot of pressure.
It can feel like a lot of pressure, but I think if you reframe it in your mind, it's actually a really, really great opportunity to demonstrate, I think, three things. One is your ambition. The second is really your understanding of the company. And then third is your commitment to growth.
So how do you recommend approaching this one? Should you like have a detailed 5-year plan all mapped out? Or is it more about like expressing a general direction?
Yeah, it's definitely more about the latter. Less about having like a rigid plan, more about really just like articulating a vision for where you see your professional journey going that aligns with the company's goals. And I think the thing that CareerVids really emphasizes here is that you want to make sure you frame this answer in terms of growth within the company, not outside of it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. So, for example, instead of saying, oh, I want to be running my own company, you can say something like,
In 5 years, I see myself as an integral part of this team, having developed my skills and expertise in mentioned specific areas related to the role and taken on new challenges that contribute to the company's growth. Something like that.
yes, A plus E, you get it?
Yeah.
It's about showing them you're invested in their future, not just using the job as a stepping stone to something else.
Right. And I imagine it's also an opportunity to reiterate your commitment to like continuous learning and development.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like weave in your desire to maybe take on new responsibilities, maybe expand your skill set through training, maybe you're interested in mentorship, and how all of that sort of ties into the company's long-term vision.
So it's not just about where you see yourself in 5 years, it's about where you see yourself contributing to the company in 5 years.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And, they actually give a really great example of kind of how to do this effectively. They say something like, in 5 years, I see myself having grown significantly within this company, taking on more responsibilities, and further developing my skills through the completion of training courses. I aim to contribute to projects that align with the company's mission and gain experience across different departments to understand more about how the business operates.
I love how that response highlights like both personal and professional growth, but it's still like laser focused on contributing to the company's success. It's like
Yes.
it strikes that perfect balance of like ambition, but also commitment.
Yes. And then they kind of even take it a step further and they talk about, their desire for leadership. Additionally, I aspire to be in a leadership position where I can mentor junior team members and foster a collaborative and supportive work environment.
That's such a good point. So it's showing that you're not just thinking about your own like individual career trajectory, but like how you can contribute to the growth and development of like others within the company.
Exactly. Exactly. It's about really demonstrating that you're invested in the company's success, not just your own.
Wow. Okay. I feel like we should have called this interview Hacks 101 because this has been a game changer.
There you go. See, that's what we're here for. And remember, like, preparation breeds confidence.
So true.
So we've armed you with, I think, some really powerful frameworks and strategies. Go out there, use them, and just knock those interview questions out of the park.
It's like they say, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And with these tools in your arsenal, you are well on your way to crafting a successful interview experience.
Yes, exactly.
So go out there and ace those interviews. And thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the art of conquering tough interview questions. We'll catch you next time for another deep dive into a topic that matters to you.